Hello, welcome everyone. This is an exciting opportunity for us to talk about Ireland, and it coincides with St. Patrick's Day week. And I'm here with Sarah Hamilton of Brendan Vacations, and I'm Angie Rice with Boutique Travel Advisors. And Ireland is one of my favorite countries. It's just an amazing opportunity to really experience culture, history, even religious battles and wars. It's a trip that can involve nature and scenery and all different types of weather, depending on the time of year. And Northern Ireland to Southern Ireland, the Ring of Kerry, Galway, Dublin, so many different destinations to choose from. And it's hard to incorporate that all in one trip. I mean, you'd have to spend months and months traveling. But so it's really important to know which destinations in Ireland would be on your top list as a first-time traveler versus someone who's returning to Ireland. You're probably going to have the opportunity to explore newer regions, separate from where you might have visited your first time. So I have some pictures of my trip. I had been to Ireland a couple years ago, traveling with my husband and some friends, and we had such a wonderful time. We drove the full circle. So we started in Dublin and we headed south, visited some beautiful countries, including Kilkenny, which I thought was really a fun spot. Shortly visited Cork and then headed to the Ring of Kerry, which was my highlight of the trip, was spending time in the Ring of Kerry. And then we headed up north to the Cliffs of Moors, and then it was time to return home. But it was a wonderful experience. I'm going to start with my very first picture of Ireland was from the plane, and just seeing the agriculture was so impressive. It just, it was so picturesque. So that's a picture of flying into Dublin. And I have a few other pictures to show you. This is a picture of the castle in Kilkenny. Beautiful night sky. Such a charming little town with so much history. So if you're planning Ireland, I think it's really important to really create a mix of destinations on your itinerary. You visit some of these off the beaten path, smaller little towns, in addition to some of the major cities that most of us have heard of. The next picture is a picture of my husband and I on the coastline. So we did a lot of driving just along the coastline to check out different sceneries. And that's clearly, if you're driving in Ireland, it's an experience in and of itself. I know we debated back and forth, like, is this something we want to do where we self-drive? Did we want to get a driver? Did we want to take the trains? Do we want to take planes? And we decided our first time we were going to experience by transferring ourselves. And my husband did say next time we're going to get a driver, just because for him it was a lot of touch and go, and he kind of missed some of the scenery focusing on the driving. But it did add an element of fun to the experience doing all the driving. So maybe you do a mix of both. And then one of my favorite places, this is the Ring of Kerry, and certainly in the northern region, you're going to have the Cliffs of Moher, but it's just so breathtaking. And if you get a chance to experience the Ring of Kerry, Skellig's Island should be on your list as well, especially if you're adventurous and you want to hike, and you be mindful if you get seasick, but that's an experience that you have to plan well in advance because it does sell out. And we had the opportunity to stay at Sheena Lodge, and this is our night out on the town where we went into town and were transferred by the hotel. And it's just the property, just you feel like you're on your private estate. It was so beautiful. So those are some pictures I just wanted to share from my trip. And Sarah, welcome again. Sarah actually is a native of Ireland. She grew up in a town called Blackrock, which is just north of Dublin, on the border, really. Is that correct, Sarah? Between yes, Dublin and Belfast. So I'm anxious for her to be able to really share with us what it's like to be a tourist, but what it's like to be a local, because the Irish men and women are so open to sharing their culture. Welcome, Sarah.
Oh, hello, and thank you for having me. A big Céad Míle Fáilte, everyone. And I mean, the 100,000 welcomes in Irish Gaelic. And I hope you all had a wonderful St. Patrick's week. It was our favourite time of the year. A big long ale of pods or Conaditch, which is happy St. Patrick's Day. Now, I've been head to toe in green all week, celebrating our wonderful national holiday. So I hope you had a wee sláinte, a wee tipple raise your glass of cup of tea or whatever it is, and you celebrated our national holiday with us.
Sarah, do me a favor. Obviously we celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the States, but tell us a little bit about the true history of St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, so St. Patrick, would you believe, is actually from Wales? There, you probably didn't know that yet. So random wee facts about that. And he came to Ireland and he used the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity. And then there's all these stories. He chased out the snakes out of Ireland, and his original colour was actually blue, wasn't green. And the first St. Patrick's Day parade was actually over here in America. And what I found really interesting I'm living in New York City now, and I am from home. When I was growing up, we wouldn't have the corned beef and cabbage. It's in America. It's a huge thing over here. So absolutely love it. I do it now as my tradition, and we are very proud of it. And I think what makes us so proud of St. Patrick's Day is that the whole world celebrates with us. Everywhere goes green, iconic buildings light up, everyone celebrates. And I love that. Either they have some Celtic blood running through them or they don't. Everyone associates with St. Patrick's Day. So for us, we're a tiny little wee place, it makes us so proud that the diaspora is just absolutely incredible.
I'm from Chicago, and I know that they pretty much turn the waters green for St. Patrick's Day. And it's an opportunity to celebrate. And I think when you travel to Ireland, it's probably the best representations of an experience where you can truly feel like a local. One of our favorite nights was we went to this pub, and then we decided to kind of look for different experiences. It was a little bit crowded, maybe a little bit more touristy, not so touristy because we were in the Rena Kerry, which tends to lend itself to less tourism. And we decided to kind of go down some side streets, and we ran into this little gem of a place where every Thursday, and it happened to be Thursday night, a group of musicians fill the entire restaurant. Only non-locals in the restaurant. But by the end of the evening, we just felt like we were part of the family. It was such a wonderful experience. So I think when you travel to Ireland, just really be mindful that there's opportunities to really leave the scenes of tourism and really head to some of the less touristy streets and cobblestone ways where you just have to take a turn and keep going, and it's such a friendly destination that you can find these little nooks and crevices where it's filled with locals, yet at the same time you'll feel welcomed and invited.
Yeah, absolutely, Angie. And we are the land of 100,000 welcomes, and I really do think that Ireland, the people in Ireland, we just adore when we have visitors come, and we really want to showcase what life is like at home in our Celtic Isle. And I love that you said the people, because we believe at Brendan that really is the heartbeat of Ireland. It's the people. So we want to make sure when your wonderful clients are traveling with us that we have those local connections with the people. Maybe it's going for a wee Kaylee, or maybe it's going hiking and just hearing the story. So they say that the Irish put the story in history, and we want your clients to come and to really create their own Celtic story when they meet the fabulous locals. And I love that you met that, and I guarantee you're probably family, probably part of the family by the time you finished up that night. So I absolutely love hearing that.
I bet you have some beautiful pictures to share with us to really inspire our travelers on the places you can go, and certainly the things that you can do when you travel. I can't wait to see what you have to show us.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just going to move on here a little bit and share my screen. I'll just give you a tiny little background about Brendan. Sure, look, we're anything in a kilt, so we do Ireland, Scotland only. But today, let's talk about Ireland and our wonderful Emerald Isle. And we have that local connection in Dublin behind our wee blue door, which is Catherine Riley. And we make sure that we're really going to connect you to the people and the places of Ireland. There we are, some of the team, and we're going to handcraft along with your amazing advisor. We work together to put fabulous itineraries together. And it's no matter where you want to travel or how you want to travel on each of the travel styles, each is different, right? So we can do completely customizable with our private chauffeurs, our Lux self-drive, our locally hosted rail, or our guided vacations. And it really is personal to you. And we want to make sure that all those amazing, unique activities is what's going to make your vacation and the destination come to life. Now, we want to stay in wonderful properties, right? We're going to have these fabulous accommodations when you come and stay. We're over 5,000 years old. So we have castles, manors, hotels, B&Bs, and we plan these whole vacations with you and your advisor, and we want to stay in these fabulous properties. Now, I do have a wee video where Catherine talks about some of these properties. May I share that, Angie?
Yes.
Fabulous. Let me see how this works. Yes, so they're part of Catherine's collection, what we call them. This beautiful Ashford Castle, and we talk about that in a wee minute. Let me see, can I get this to play? Oh, do you know what I call her? I call Catherine the Banrian, which is Irish for Queen. She literally knows everybody and everybody knows her in the Emeral Dials. We have those wonderful local connections. And we stay in those fabulous properties, like you stayed in a fabulous castle, right? Or a manor, like we can mix and match these accommodations. So I absolutely love that.
And remind me, Brendan Vacations owns one of these castles. Is that correct?
Oh yes, we do. We're part of the Travel Corporation. So our sister brand, the Red Carnation, owns the wonderful Ashford Castle. Oh my goodness, it is a dream. And this is an 800-year-old castle that was once home to the Guinness family. It's a 5-star property. It's absolutely stunning. I do actually have a wee video of Ashford Castle and how when we purchased it back a few years ago, how we restored it back to its natural beauty. Would you like to see? Can I play that? Yeah, let me see now. Let me just give me one wee second. I'm going to pull it up here. I have it over here. Oh, it's just absolutely stunning. And we have all these wonderful activities that you can do while at the castle as well. And I have been growing up in Ireland. I have, oh, 1 second. I'm going to put it over here. Woo. Sorry. It's just off on its own there. Oh, I don't know. And please forgive me for that. Let's see here. And growing up in Ireland, you know, we would always be around Ashford Castle, but when the Toman family bought it, the Travel Corporation bought it, they just bought the magic. Oh, it was absolutely stunning. Let me see, can I get this up again without just playing on me now? 1 wee second.
No worries. And really, I also want to share that just the Red Carnation brand, which is your sister company, and obviously when it's a sister company, the partnership and really the connections that you have to the Red Carnation hotels is obviously one of a kind. And they're some of my most favorite hotels, and they're family owned. And it's really an experience to stay at a Red Carnations hotel, especially, you know, the Ashford Castle by all means.
Oh, it is just beyond words. And you know, the attention to detail in each of the rooms, in each of the places. Oh, it's beautiful. So let me give this one wee go and let's see, does this come up? We are so proud of that stunning castle. It is just beyond words. Yeah, we absolutely love it. And you know, your clients can go on any of our travel styles when they visit. So we can take them there on our guided or any of our independent travel styles. And if they do a private chauffeur, we offer those exclusive experiences. Maybe they want to go and stay in the hideaway cottage or have a dinner down the wine cellar. No problem. We can organize that working with you as well, Angie.
Yeah, and I think it's important to really emphasize the difference between traveling by rental car where you're self-guided versus maybe being in a smaller group, or where you aboard the train, or if you're looking at a private chauffeur, because in some destinations it's less about the transportation, getting from point A to point B, but that's a big part of the experience when you're exploring Ireland. So maybe share with our viewers really the differences in those choices and what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to flick way through here, and we see, so we have travel for every occasion. And Brendan vacationed, it's really guided by our mantra of taking you personally. So just as you said, it's everyone's preference on how they want to travel and those experiences they have along the way. So actually, maybe I'll go through a bit of the travel styles, tell a little bit about Ireland. Maybe I'll throw in a wee story or two and how we differentiate in each kind of travel style. So the first up I will talk about is the private chauffeur. This is where it's completely customizable. We can go to those iconic sites, delve into the culture, and go to any destination within Ireland. Those nitty-gritty wee villages, no problem. We can take you there. And maybe you want to go and walk in the footsteps of your Celtic clan and find your ancestry. And it's off the beaten track. With the chauffeur, we can bring you there and do that. And you're going to be traveling with a skilled storyteller, a local in the know, and again, completely customizable and on different properties you can stay in, from castles, hotels, manors. Now, Angie, can I just be completely honest with you when it comes to the private chauffeur? I think I need to share this. Yeah. Our guests cannot take the chauffeur home with them. They're going to fall in love with them. They're going to become best friends. They're just going to absolutely adore them. They have to leave them in Ireland with us. They have to leave their local storyteller with us. They're going to love them. They are amazing, absolutely amazing. And they'll make that trip to Ireland so, so special. So again, it's traveling in style and having those exclusive high touch experiences, those elevated experiences that we can offer when it comes to a private chauffeur. So yeah, if you want to stay in old castles like myself, grab the tiara, no problem. We can organize that. Or to mix and match those accommodations from castles, hotels, and manors, and really travel absolutely anywhere. And again, it's those exclusive experiences that we can offer, like the falconry in Ashford Castle, as I said, staying in the hideaway cottage in Ashford Castle, or else maybe, having a private tasting somewhere, a whiskey tasting, or going to the Guinness storehouse. So again, those exclusive experiences when it comes to the private chauffeur. And they're going to be traveling with their skilled storyteller. And we will build everything together. Yeah, with you.
It's
Yeah.
so true. So true. And I think some people may have never been on an experience where they truly had a chauffeur with them from day to day to day, 24/7, if you will. But we had a driver on our trip to Croatia. We didn't when we went to Ireland. But what I can honestly say that for my kids, for my family, our driver was our favorite guide. And we had other guides when we were touring and things like that, whether we were, aborting a boat for the day or hiking. But the chauffeur became like part of the experience by all means. And we would pull across the side of the road and say, hey, there's an old war museum on the side of the road. Is that something your kids would like? Or there's a farm over here with lots of animals. Is that something that you'd want to stop and do? You have the liberty of kind of experiencing different things along the travel experience. And I think the guide, by all means, allows you to hear the story, feel like you're traveling with a local. And that's so different than if you're self-guiding or really just transferring for the sake of transferring to get from point A to point B. When you really look at it as part of the experience and you have this resource at your disposal who has the knowledge, and they have so much knowledge that they'll share the knowledge that resonates with you. So if you're a history buff, the conversations will be more from a historical perspective. If you're into understanding the religious dynamics of Ireland, which we all know is a big component, or if you're there to really have fun and to golf, and maybe it's stopping at a speakeasy that there's no way you would have found on your own. So it's an amazing experience. Once you've traveled with a chauffeur, it's something you'll want to do over and over again.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And with you, Angie, and everybody else, there's the whole world out there. You have to know so much about the whole world. Sure, we're only two. We're like this tiny little wee place. We know it inside out. So you're right. If there's somewhere maybe off the wee beaten track to go to a village where they know they're going to have the best cup of tea and scones, they'll take them there. So it's that insider knowledge, and they're skilled. They know the place inside out, and they really become like a family with the people who are traveling, and it's to their personal preference. And with the chauffeurs, we can do any size. So maybe it is a multi-generational trip and they want to go and take the little wee one, so from 5 to 95, and having that chauffeur there to make sure they're accommodating everyone along the way is, they're very, very special, very, very special. Oh, my daddy wants to become a chauffeur. That's the new thing now. My daddy's like, I want to take, like, Daddy, you'll have the back of the house the whole time. I was like, yeah, absolutely love it. Again, and with the chauffeur, we really want to make it so special for you and have those exclusive experiences and really go anywhere. And they're going to be there by your side for any questions. And they're so full of knowledge and folklore stories, and they're just incredible. Yeah, we absolutely love our chauffeurs. We're so proud of them. So yeah, your clients can't take them home. You'll not have to leave them in Ireland with us. They're going to love them.
Right. And a lot of the castles, and I'd love for you to share sort of the histories of the towers and things like that were used for security. They're abandoned and they're on the sides of the roadways. And so as a tourist, you're not necessarily going to know of these hidden gems without a driver, taking you to these experiences, and it's quite remarkable. Many of the roads are unmarked, they're gravel, they're one-way roads where you literally have to get off the side of the road in order for the oncoming traffic to take charge. And it's like, okay, is it our turn, their turn? It is an experience by all means to be driving, and maybe your chauffeur will give you a chance to drive if that's something you want to do, because it's it's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. And you're right. So we're over 5,000 years old. So we have castles everywhere. Would you believe my secondary school? So from the ages of 12 to 18, please forgive me, I think it's middle school and high school. Our school was actually attached to a castle, to this 400-year-old castle. And we used to have classes in this castle. Like, it's just the norm for us to have these beautiful castles. But yeah, you can go and hear the stories of the Battle of the Boyne, or go to the Hill of Tara. All the stories that they have that your chauffeur can share with you along the way. Because there's so much history. We're over 5,000 years old. There's these beautiful tombs, megalithic tombs, and they're over, like, scattered throughout the whole country, that you might just, that's it. You could be driving yourself and you might just miss it. So that those local insights from the chauffeur are incredible. Yeah, they are. It's a great, great way to travel. We absolutely love it. Yeah. And I know, do you want me to go on and talk about the next travel style that we have? Maybe they want to take that open road. Yeah, sure. So the next travel style that we have at Brendan is those exclusive experiences that we talked about, where we can have those private experiences for you. But maybe you're thinking, do you know what? I'm going to drive myself. And you're driving a beautiful luxury car, similar to like a Mercedes or a Range Rover, and you're having those exclusive experiences. So working with your amazing advisor and our fabulous team in Dublin, we will put together the itinerary to where you want to go and what you want to see. So, and it's about connecting with the locals and those experiences along the way, which I think is so important. So if you do value those high touch, exclusive, private experiences, like going to learn the perfect pint of Guinness and the Guinness storehouse experience, a connoisseur experience, and going up to the Gravity Bar, and having that private experience of learning to do that. We can offer that on our luxury self-drive and our private chauffeur. Andy, did you have any Guinness when you were at home, or did you learn how to pour a pint of Guinness while you were there? Oh no, you're on mute. Sorry, Angie, you're on mute there. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Yes, I said even if you're not typically a beer drinker, of course you have to celebrate with a Guinness by all means when in Rome, when in Dublin, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's one of the first things I do when I go home. Me and my dad go and have that pint of Guinness because it tastes so good. But even if you're not a Guinness drinker, the whole interactive experience in the Guinness Storehouse and random wee facts. Would you believe that the Guinness Storehouse, the St James's Gate Brewery, was bought for £45 with a 9,000-year lease? Like, imagine, like that's a bargain if I ever heard one. So you get to learn the history of like the Guinness Storehouse and the place surrounding it too. And of course, again, it's about personal preference. If you want to go and maybe have have a private experience of learning how to make some Irish soda bread. That'd be so cool. Get to roll up your sleeves. You meet the wonderful Tracy, and you go into her home. I love this because again, it's as you mentioned earlier, Angie. It's about connecting with the locals and the places there. And with Angie, you get or with Tracy, Angie, you get to home, and then she will get you to roll up the sleeves, and you'll get to bake some bread, and then you become a pro. You'll get to take home the recipe and show off to all your friends when you come back. So again, those exclusive private experiences that we can offer when it comes to the luxury self-drive and the private chauffeur. And it's really tailored to how personally you want it. We have all these amazing local connections. Now we want to bring the destination to life, and we do that by connecting with the locals. And one of the locals we love as well is the fabulous Mark Rogers, and he's up in the Giant's Causeway, up in the north of Ireland along the Causeway coast. Angie, did you get to go up to Northern Ireland when you were there? Did you get to visit?
We did. So we did a day trip. It was really a full day. I don't know if it was 12 hours, 15 hours, but it was a full day. And I highly recommend that if you are wanting to experience a combination of Ireland and Northern Ireland, you probably need to plan for 2 weeks or make that 2 separate trips. I wanted to at least have said I've been there, I've done it, but by no means it was a rush experience. And so it's something I want to revisit and do again and spend more time really along the northern coast of Northern Ireland as well. And we did do Belfast as well.
I absolutely love Northern Ireland. And you just said it there, you're right. It's having that time in the destination. You'd really need a good 2 weeks to really explore the whole island because there's so much to do while visiting the Emeral Isle. And I love Northern Ireland. As you said, I'm just below the border. My daddy's from the north and we grew up just south of the border. So we visited Northern Ireland all the time. My dad's actually from the Causeway coast. And can I tell a wee folklore story? Is that okay? Can I just tell a wee story? Because we're full of stories at home, and you'll hear this when you travel to Ireland, and you'll hear about all the legends of Ireland, right? And it's been passed down from generation to generation, all these fabulous stories. My friends say I ate the Blarney Stone, I talk that much, so I could be here all day with you telling you all the folklore stories. But one that I love is here with Mark and the Giant's Causeway. And you can see there in the image the unique formation. You kind of see that unique formation, and it's an iconic site up in Northern Ireland. And there's 2 reasons why they say this beautiful formation was created. Now, there's the scientific way, and then there's the truth. So scientists believe that it was volcanic activity, yada, yada, yada. But what I've learned growing up and the history that's been passed down from generation to generation is that it was created by giants. And I'm going to tell you this wee story. Many, 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 many moons ago, there was an Irish giant called Fuin McCool. And he had a rival over in Scotland called Benandonnan. And from Northern Ireland over to Scotland, it's roughly about 12 miles. So Fuin McCool was going to go and fight the Scottish giant. Oh, he was proud as punch. Oh my God, he started strutting his way over to Scotland across the causeway. And what did he notice as he was getting closer and closer and closer to Scotland? The Scottish giant was getting bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger. So he was like, no, I won't be able to fight him. He is massive. So the Irish giant goes back home, Finn McCool, and he goes to his wife, Una. And he said, Una, I don't know what I'm going to do. The Scottish giant is way bigger than I expected. I'm terrified. So Una took a moment, poised. She said, I've got an idea. I'm going to dress you as a baby and put you in the bed. The Irish giant is like, oh, I have no other choice. I don't know what I'm going to do. So in he hops into the bed and dressed as a baby. So next thing you know, the door knocks, and sure, who is it? It's the Scottish giant, Benandonnan. And he roars. Oh, he roars. Nearly knocks wee Una on the floor. He roars out loud, screaming, I'm here to fight Finn McCool. And Una calmly looks up at the Scottish giant and says, there is no Finn McCool here. All I have is my sleeping baby, which is the giant. And the Scottish giant takes one look at the sleeping baby, Finn McCool, and said, if that's the size of the baby, I don't want to see the size of the father. And he ran as fast as he could, chipping away at the causeway back to Scotland. So you see, that's really how the Giant's Causeway was formed, not by volcanic activity. And you'll hear these wonderful folklore stories when you come to Ireland. Now, Angie, there's main reason why I love telling that particular one. Because behind every man, there's a smart and strong woman to tell him what to do.
So true, so true.
Yeah, so I love these folklore stories, and you'll hear more when you visit, and maybe when you go and you have Mark with you, and it's just full of stories, full of history, and full of magic in Ireland, and we cannot wait for you to experience that. Now, Mark did send a wee video. He's going to say hello, so if it's okay, I'm going to play that. Let's see, can I get this up? 1 wee second.
Videos. So real quickly, maybe you can put it on your primary screen so we hear the sound.
Yeah, no problem. Let me see. Will this come? Let me see. Oh. Oh no, it won't move over for me. I am so sorry. It won't move that over for me. Oh. I am so sorry. That is not moving for me. Oh, sorry.
No worries. You know what we'll do? Follow up after our meeting and add it to the group.
Fabulous. And it's
I would
lovely
love for you to post those videos so people can watch them over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as you said earlier, it's all about the locals that make that place so special. Yeah. So there's those two travel styles I talked about, those exclusive experience we can offer you as well. But we also do rail around Ireland, and where you travel. I like to say this travel style, Angie, is where you travel on your own, but you're never alone. You have a local host in each destination that you visit. Your Brendan specialist, your friend in that destination, who will be waiting for you at the hotel, and you sit with them for like an hour, 2 hours, and they come with a treasure trove of ideas of what to do, taste, and see while visiting their city. And then you kind of have that independence of going off, enjoying the destination, and having, security of picking up the phone saying, do you know what? Where can I go? Bit like yourself, Angie. Where can I go for a bit of a Cayley music? And they might say, you know what? Go down to Tom's Tavern tonight. He has some Irish music, and you'll really love it. So, and then you travel on your own from one destination to the next via train, and you meet your next local host, Brendan specialist, at the hotel when you arrive, who's from that area or who knows the area inside out, who's that security while you're there. So it's a great way to travel from up to Northern Ireland, down to south of Ireland. And then, as you know, Angie, sure, we're just a tiny wee place. We don't have the rail the whole way around. So in areas where we don't have rail, we have a chauffeur come and pick you up and bring you to the next destination. So the great way to travel, having that local host. And again, it's about connecting with the locals, no matter what your interests are. Maybe you want to go hiking over in Killarney National Park and meet a local specialist, like for Linda in Killarney as well, at Torque Waterfalls there. It's beautiful. So again, it's personal preference about we're working with you and your amazing advisors to make sure that we're really connecting them to the destination and the places that they visit. Yeah.
You're right. And most travelers have a limited amount of time that they can travel. Of course, we would love to allow for more time, but when you only have 7 days or even 10 days, you really do have to balance and make decisions on destination based on prioritizing what's most important to you. Because if you overextend traveling to a multitude of destinations and don't allow enough time to truly enjoy it, for example, spending time in Killarney and not allowing yourself time to do the hikes, to drive the coast, as well as to see the downtown, you're missing half the experience of Killarney. So I really always try to recommend to our travelers not to focus so much on hitting a multitude of destinations, but allowing yourself to focus and choose the destinations, maybe 2 or 3 at most, so that you allow for enough time to really see and explore that destination. So you as much as you want to go back, if there's that reality of not being able to return, you feel like you at least saw enough in its totality for that memory to be as full and engaging as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. And you said it. I get that. I get that question daily. How long should I go for? Where should I go? And I always say, if you have the time and the flexibility, get over there and spend as much time as you want, because when you're there, there's so much to do. And you're right, you may go and you may think, I'll come back again. But honestly, yeah, if you can get over there and really have that wonderful time there and really explore each wee town, each destination, as I said, there's so much to do. And we really want to make sure that you're enjoying it and you're really immersing yourself in the culture while you're there too, and having those connections with the locals along the way. Yeah.
And Sarah, I have a question for you. If somebody I've had this happen where a traveler really wasn't sure whether they wanted to spend their time primarily in Northern Ireland versus Ireland, and they didn't have a lot of time to do both. So what would be your recommendation if someone were to ask, which country is best for me if I only have time to really focus on one versus the other? What would be the things to consider between the two different countries? Because they're very different countries. And I think sometimes people assume that they're similar, and if they don't really understand the history and really the geography.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh goodness, I'm like, oh, go everywhere. I'm like, oh, I love it. But yeah, there's different. You're right. There's different. Like up in Northern Ireland, it's definitely personal preference. Like you have the Titanic Museum up there. So if that's what they're into, like go to Northern Ireland, or maybe they're Game of Thrones fans, and they can go and do experiences up there while they're there too. And of course, throughout Northern Ireland and south of Ireland, they have opportunities to stay in these beautiful properties too. So they can mix and match anywhere. A lot of people have done the south loop before. They've been to Ireland before and done down the south and seen those iconic sites like Waterford Crystal experience, or going over to the beautiful cliffs of Moher, or going to Galway. So it really is personal preference what they want to do. There's so much to do in each destination. And they can maybe have a couple of days like between Dublin and Belfast. The train even up is like a couple of hours, driving's a couple of hours. So if they really want to go up and maybe just the Titanic Museum is something that they really want to do, or learn the stories and do a black cab tour and hear the stories of the history of Belfast. They can add that on for the couple of days if they really want to focus on those iconic sites. And there's so much to do. You can go into the hidden heartlands, over to Athlone, over to Galway. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's all what you want to do. But a lot of people have gone down and seen those wonderful iconic sites down the side of the Ring of Kerry. So beautiful. But anywhere you go, you're going to have the gorgeous coastline, the wild Atlantic way. Donegal is like a hidden, beautiful place. It's Donegal, so untouched, like it's stunning. Absolutely, I love every part of it. So it's definitely personal preference if they want to go. And you know what I love as well? A lot of people are big foodies and they want to do food experiences and tastings. And gin is very popular now. So Belfast is great to go and do the Jawbox gin. So it's definitely what we would suggest in asking those questions of those experiences they're looking for.
Yes, when we were staying at Mount Juliet Estate, which I believe to be a beautiful property, it's changed a little bit. I know it was bought out, but it was a hidden gem in my opinion. And we met some locals from Cork. And I would love to give more attention to Cork as well, because it's in the southern region of the country. And when you were mentioning foodies and things like that, like I don't think people realize that the cuisine has like changed overnight in Ireland, and there's a lot of top chefs, and I would put Cork in that arena as being one of the destinations within Ireland for a foodie.
Yeah, absolutely, Angie. You just said it, So thank goodness my mum can't hear me today, because she'd be like, "No, you're not. That's not right." But I was raised on boiled potatoes, like some veggies, some meat, and my potatoes really boiled. Like, there wasn't really a great variety growing up in Ireland. But the Celtic culinary scene, oh my goodness, it has drastically changed over the last number of years. So when I was in university, like 10 years ago, a lot of my friends who studied like the culinary arts, they went off to Spain, Italy, France, England, and came back with all these amazing tastes and flavors. And the food at home is, oh my God, amazing. Like, if you go down to Cliff at Lyons in Hampshire, it's a two Michelin star restaurant. It's stunning. And like, even doing those wonderful food experiences, we can do them in Galway, you meet Sheena, or you can go and to Dublin and have a delicious food tour, get some of the best ice cream, which is Murphy's ice cream. It's my favorite. But yeah, the food at home is so amazing, and it's such a short distance from farm to table too. Like, it's so fresh. So I definitely, yeah, your socks will be knocked off with the food at home. We as locals are delighted, and so are our guests. Yeah.
And I also think that in Ireland you have some major cities, of course, and we've talked about those major cities, but sometimes it's this notion of maybe you spend a day trip in the city, but there's some great estates and properties and manors that are like 45 minutes or 30 minutes from some of these main destinations, like the opportunity to stay outside of Dublin, but still be close enough to Dublin where you can do some of the activities like visiting the Guinness museum and factory, and also going to Trinity University. I mean, the library is just fantastic, right? Dinner out in the city versus coming back and retreating 30, 45 minutes outside the city in more of an estate property where there's, luscious gardens and greenery. So always remember, I mean, it depends where you are. If you're in Paris, you might want to be in the heart of Paris. I understand that. But there are some cities that really offer these great accommodations outside the city, if particularly if you don't have enough time to kind of do a mix of both. That's a great way to kind of balance the experience, so you get a mix of being in the city but still feeling able to retreat outside the city.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Paris Court Gardens, like going out to that area and Dublin's doorstep is stunning. And a lot of people, we have been finding that they're going and maybe spending like a couple of nights out in a castle or a manor or something like that, and having that time and enjoying the beautiful surroundings. And they can do walks in the area, and maybe there's a wee village is close by. But yeah, staying in those properties and having that fresh air of Ireland and enjoying the beautiful scenery around them. So a lot of people are doing that. Yeah, it's a great way.
And you mentioned the farm to table and the cooking classes that you can do in someone's home. Those are just amazing experiences that really add to the memory of your travels.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all about creating that personal, special, magical experience when you come to the Celtic Isle, and working with your team, obviously, and Angie and yourself. And it's just, they make dreams come true for your clients. And we are here. We're fantastic partners, and I love that we can put them together and make that magic come alive when they visit.
Absolutely. It's so fun working with you, Sarah. And you really have a good grasp of every client is different, and every client has a different purpose, a different way of traveling, or maybe they have challenges as it relates to their children, or they're traveling with a parent that has mobility issues. And to really be able to finesse an itinerary that takes those things into consideration, so that it allows for a trip to be less stressful in the planning stages as well as on the journey. And Sarah, you just have a good understanding of what's going to work for, an active family. An active family is going to have a very different itinerary than a family that likes to, experience travel more from a relaxing point of view, or a family that's more into history versus more into socializing and the nightlife. Those are very different experiences. Or some people want to really try the new cuisine and really are open to trying some of the traditional things as well. Others, they're not as open-minded to what they eat. And so taking in all of those things into consideration can really elevate your travel experience when you're dialed in. And that's really our role in working with you, because as much as we can really know the ins and outs of our clients, when they go to different destinations, to really understand their preferences and how they align with sort of the culture and the history and really what is it that you want to experience and see and do in Ireland versus, let's say, South America, countries like Peru and Colombia and Ecuador. The concerns and the preferences are going to have to vary, and there's some level of compromising with a traveler, because you want them to be open-minded and just try things that, some people are more open-minded than others, but you really want to unveil a destination, and part of doing that is to be willing to try new things, but at the same time, be mindful that your itinerary is built for you. So it's going to incorporate the activities and the interest of yours. Some people could spend 3 days in Trinity's libraries. Others, they're there for 2 hours. They take pictures and, they've seen it, they love it, and they're ready to move on. So we really try to dial into the preferences and the experiences of our clients. And we have a comment: I can't imagine going to Ireland and not staying in one of the beautiful estates. And I totally agree with that comment. I know even if you're on more of a budget, it's important to be able to recognize what is that must-see, must-do experience. So maybe your accommodations in the cities like Galway or Dublin or Cork are more modest, so that you can splurge at the Ashford Castle or splurge at the manor, estate that you choose. But allowing yourself those 2 nights of splurging and being able to say, okay, we'll scale back during our city travel in order to allow that to happen. I always try to look at, a client's budget and be able to say, okay, let's get the most experience and the most value out of this trip. And sometimes if you're on a budget, in order to do that, you want to compromise in some areas and certainly splurge in others. And you can do that if you're creative, and we're working with the right partners who really know how to make that work. And certainly Brendan Vacations is a partner that really guides us as it relates to planning our trips for our clients to the lovely country of Ireland, as well as Northern Ireland and Scotland as well.
Absolutely. You said it right there again, Angie. It's, what's your personal preference, what's your must do to make that happen, what you want to do while you're there. And you can, and guided by our mantra of taking you personally, it's right, working with you and building exactly what it is that the client wants, and our guests want.
Well, thank you for joining us, Sarah. I really appreciated having this conversation with you today. It was good to see your face, and I know we'll be planning Ireland again soon. I have some travelers planned for September, so we will definitely hope that the world reopens by then, so those trips are a go. And I know next summer there'll be high demand for Ireland by all means, and it's a beautiful time to travel. But I also think, April and into September is also a great time to plan trips to Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, any time of the year, as I like to say, I love the cozy season as well, from October to April as well, as you talked about. I love the cozy season. I'm a bigger stretch in the evenings. That's an Irish saying, a good stretch in the evenings. When it comes to summer months, we have longer daylight as well. So thank you, Angie. A big Reverend Mila for everything. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for an amazing
And I
partner.
love how you touched on the winter seasons, because I do feel more travelers are becoming open-minded about traveling at different times of year. It's not just about, traveling during the most favorable weather from the standpoint of if you enjoy the spring, summer, fall, but it's that the celebrations that take place during the winter months, and being able to see the scenic, weather and snow, if you will, in places where there's snow. I think that's something that's on people's radar more now than ever before. Those beach vacations that typically take place in the winter months, I think we're going to see less of that, and people are going to really travel and experience different times of years of countries that maybe they would have typically planned for summer. So I think that's great. And keep in mind, like, a lot of people don't realize, geography speaking, that it's really easy to get to Ireland compared to a lot of other European countries. You know, from the coast, it's less than 7 hours. There's a direct flight from Chicago. I mean, we ventured from Phoenix, but we landed in Chicago, and the flight from Chicago to Dublin, or even, you know, from Galway, they're very reasonable flights. It's not, you know, you basically 7 hours and you're there. And keep that in mind, because that does allow for, you know, if you can break down the travel a little bit more, it allows you to do potentially a 5-day trip if that's only the amount of time that you're able to do, and you focus on one region. I know we've done some golf trips that have been 5 nights into Dublin, and it is possible because it is a closer, you know, it is one of the more closer European destinations to the States. So thanks everyone for joining us. And if you're watching this in the replay, please comment and let us know which destination in Ireland is probably going to be on your itinerary if you're to go to Ireland. And if you've been there, please share with us sort of your favorite experiences when you travel to Ireland. Thanks again, Sarah, and thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.